Well, I was checking my channel and I thought it was time to do another album review since I have been doing a few album rankings and also did a few reposts. Well, the reposts are going to stop because I decided to just create new content on my channel, on my new channel. So today, I've got something very special for you guys today, something that really absolutely blew my mind this week. We're talking about Wode, Servants of the Countercosmos.
Yeah, no.
Hey?
That's not it.
What are you talking about?
Not reviewing Servants of the Countercosmos.
You're saying we're not reviewing Servants of the Countercosmos?
Yeah, no.
And why is that? This is a fantastic fucking album. Wasn't this released last week?
Yeah, no, the new album was released last week.
No, it wasn't. What are we talking about then? We're talking about Wode. I know we're talking about Wode.
How many times do I have to tell you Burning Men in Mirrors?
Oh, we're talking about that album. Burn in Many Mirrors. Yeah.
You have to review that.
Wode, Burn in Many Mirrors. That's what we're talking about today, unfortunately. That's what my producer just said, that we're talking about Burning Many Mirrors instead of Servants of the Countercosmos. I would rather talk about Servants of the Countercosmos than Burning Many Mirrors, but that's what my producer says. That's what we have to do. Now, Wode released an album this week. Now, in case you don't know, Wode are a black and death metal band, and a lot of people call them black metal. Yes, they were once black metal, but now they have transitioned into black and death metal. Servants of the Countercosmos was a fantastic album. This was the album that released in 2017. There are just absolutely some incredible songs on it that I fucking love, like Celestial Dagger. You also got Chaos Spell, that 9-minute song. Servants of the Countercosmos, it's self-titled, and it was more of an atmospheric black metal album. But listening to this album, Burning Many Mirrors, they definitely have changed their sound. Have they changed the sound for the better? Well, surely they've changed the sound for the better, but in my opinion, this album did not gravitate towards me one bit. Surely it's fun, surely it's energetic, surely it's riff-tastic, but that's about it. It seems like Wode had lost all their identity from this album. This doesn't sound like any Wode album. The self-titled album, Wode, which was their debut album, was a lot more doomier and sludgier, and it was interesting to incorporate such genres within the black metal genre, where their sophomore album was a masterpiece, where they incorporated so many different elements within this album. At times incorporated black metal, blackened death, along with thrash metal as well, and this was a correlation of such fantastic songwriting, especially on Servants on the Countercosmos. But they try to do this in Burning Many Mirrors, and surely there are some fun songs like Serpent's Coil, Run in the Hills, Sulphuric Glow, you had Streams of Rapture, which is basically the most Wode sounding song you could possibly get. That is my favorite song off the album. But these songs just did not gravitate towards me. This was just riff salad. There was a lot of riffs on this, a lot of riffs. You can tell they were inspired by new wave British heavy metal on this album. Some riffs that did sound like something out of Iron Maiden, especially Serpent's Coil, which had some really interesting riffs. Gotta be brutally honest, that Wode Burning Many Mirrors did not interest me one bit. I heard this album a few times and I said, yeah, this is a good album. Yeah, this is a fun album. Yeah, this is an album that I never want to listen to again. I know a lot of people are loving this album, and good on them. This is like an introduction to the black metal genre, you could say. And if this album gets people more into black metal, then so be it. But for people to saying that this is the best black metal album, the best fucking black metal album of the year at the moment, is blasphemy, in my opinion. It's blasphemy against all the other black metal bands that have released absolutely fantastic albums 10 times better than this, in my opinion. You have Mare Cognitum, you have Grimmer, you have Feritarium, you have Etheric, you also had Suicide Forest that released absolute banger albums this year, and you also had Zeratus. Like, no one talks about Zeratus, but people want to talk about Wode. Why? I don't understand. But this album was released through the record label 20 Bucks Spin, and a lot of people have been anticipating this album. In my opinion, Servants on the Countercosmos is 10 times better than Burning Many Mirrors, and I'll tell you why. Because it's more black metal. Servants of the Countercosmos had an atmospheric black metal vibe sounding very similar to Maguire and even Wode. This sounds like a whole different approach by Wode. Although I appreciate the musicianship, I appreciate the songwriting, some really catchy songs, some really good songwriting, and I'm not dissing this album one bit. I'm saying that they have completely changed their identity on this album. Lunar Madness is a pretty hectic song overall. What I really do enjoy is the overall riffs. The riffs are fantastic. Incorporating some traditional metal riffs on this, the vocals. His vocals have definitely changed. They're much more dynamic and much more guttural and aggressive at times. His vocals on the previous album had that traditional black metal tone, where this album incorporates guttural vocals, very similar to bands such as Immolation Incantation vocals, incorporating more death metal elements along with the death metal drumming as well. This mixes a cauldron of blackened death metal, especially on Luna Madness. Serpent's Call is overall a pretty good song. It's pretty catchy, the riffs are fantastic, and overall it's a really fun and up-tempo song. I just really do enjoy the chord progression. His vocals are really good as well, dynamic in range, and overall it's a pretty fun song. There's nothing much I can complain about. It's pretty uplifting. It's quite thrashy. They incorporate thrashed elements on Serpent's Coil. It's a pretty good song. Fire in the Hills is another pretty good song by this band, but they incorporate more doom elements on this, especially in the intro. A nice crescendo towards the climax of the song. Some really nice riffages, some interesting melodies as well that do get stuck in your head. Sulphuric Glow is next. This is a very upbeat tempo song as well by this band, incorporating organs throughout the mix, making it quite gothic and feeling quite atmospheric. The vocals are a little bit lower within the mix, which I do really enjoy, and it's a good song overall, but it's nothing breathtaking. Vanish Beneath is next. Some really nice guitar riffs on this. I love the drumming on this, some really nice drum fills. The riffs are quite repetitive on this song, which I did notice, and that's one thing, is that some of this album is quite repetitive, especially the riffs. They continue the riffs over and over again throughout the songs, and I just wanted a bit of variety on this, but overall, Vanish Beneath is a good song overall. Dreams of Rapture 1, 2, 3 has an interesting introduction, which does sound like something out of a Sega game or PlayStation game, and it's just a build up, and all of a sudden it transitions to such hectic, chaotic moments. This is definitely my favorite song off the album. It's more black metal. This has a more black metal tinge on it. I love his vocals on this. I really love the awesome guitar riffs as well. Nice transition, the tremolo picking that leads onto some really nice drum fills that transitions into the overall interesting conclusion, and the conclusion is quite melodic as well. It's a pretty melodic conclusion that does actually get stuck in your head, and I just really do enjoy this song overall. But a lot of people saying, like Metal Trenches, Metal Meltdown, are saying that it is the best black metal album of 2021. I completely disagree, really completely disagree, because I've heard a lot of black metal this year. This is nowhere near as one of the best black metal albums of the year. So this album will be in my black metal rating. So for Wode, Burning Many Mirrors, I'm going to give this a solid 6 out of 10. It's overall a pretty good album. It's definitely not my album of the year. It's definitely not my favorite black metal album of the year. It incorporates more of the blackened death metal style on this album, very different to the album Servants of the Countercosmos. This is overall a pretty enjoyable album, don't get me wrong. I have listened to this album a few more times. Like, I do really enjoy the songwriting. The riffs on this are pretty catchy. You can tell they were inspired by heavy metal bands such as Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. One band that does it a little bit better is Havakrudu, in my opinion. Havakrudu mixed the black metal and heavy metal together, which makes a pretty awesome combination. I just feel that Havakrudu do a lot better than Wode, in my opinion. Wode have definitely changed the sound. They are trying to find their identity, and is this their new identity? I'm not too sure, but yeah, a 6 out of 10 Wode gets. Comment below if you enjoyed this review. Do you agree or disagree with my opinion? I know a lot of people will disagree with my opinion on this, but I just feel there are a lot of better black metal bands out there, a lot of better black metal albums out there. Like, a lot of people are saying that Wode and Tribulation are the best black metal albums of the year. Yeah, I completely disagree, because there are a lot of better black metal bands out there, and like I said, if you want to hear a fantastic black metal band and an album this year, check out Mare Cognitum, or even Suicide Forest, or even Zeratus. I mean, those are great bands, and to be honest, they're better than Wode. They are. So 6 out of 10 it gets. Do you agree, disagree, my opinion? Drop a like, subscribe, or hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next one. Now, can we review Servants of the Countercosmos, please?
No, you got order no good.
Alright, fine.